What is going on, guys? Paul Ryan back at it again. I hope everybody's having a good night. Tough day in the NFL world where NFL teams are having to make difficult decisions, and of course, the Cowboys being one of those teams as they make their roster cuts, getting down to that 53-man roster. And one move that really surprised me, caught me off guard, was trading Peyton Hendershot to the Kansas City Chiefs for a late round pick. Now, I'm not mad about the move. I think it's a great move, especially if Peyton Hendershot wasn't going to make your team, but I was just surprised. It didn't seem like he had done enough this offseason or in the last two seasons at all to warrant being traded for, maybe, showing interest to another team. But apparently he did something. I don't know if it's maybe skill set. I do remember hearing that Jared Wiley, rookie tight end in Kansas City, his development has been a little bit slower than the Kansas City Chiefs had anticipated and liked. So maybe that's why they went out and got a guy like Peyton Hendershot, who's athletic, has shown some playmaking ability, but just not really consistent. So kudos to the Cowboys for getting a deal done. As far as cuts go, no real big surprises in the cuts area. Two guys making the team that I'm very happy for, that we've talked a lot about on this channel, but one being Deuce Vaughn, running back, looking like he's the RB3. I'm so happy, man, because Deuce didn't have that great of an offseason just because of injury, not because of performance. And then finally he shows out when he needed to most in the two preseason games and just the kind of the final weeks of training camp. So you'll love to see that. And then Israel Mukuamu, my original pet cat, if you know, you know. He makes the roster as the cornerback 4 or 5. I was looking at the final 53-man roster and all the cuts and everything. And I can't remember if he was 4 or 5, but the fact that he was able to make the roster I was excited about that because I know there was some discussion, listening to Brian Broaddus thinking that Mukuamu might be the odd man out. Thankfully, he's not. So love to see that. Carl Lawson was a cut that I was surprised by, but then I remembered because I was talking to CD Piglet, aka Mike Crum, and Brendan from the show, and I asked them about Carl Lawson, what warranted him being cut, and they reminded me that Mike had actually broke it down on the Monday night show, talking about he'd probably get cut, but then brought back him and Nick Vigil. So we'll see if those moves are made here in the coming days. But a player that did get cut from another team, who I would be interested in bringing on for the Cowboys, even though I don't know if we necessarily need him, but it wouldn't be a bad thing if we did go out and add him, is running back Michael Carter, who just recently got cut by the Arizona Cardinals. Has a similar skill set to Deuce Vaughn, a little bit bigger than Deuce Vaughn, a little more experience and touches than Deuce Vaughn. I just think in the case that Deuce Vaughn is still developing, Michael Carter has a similar skill set, like I said, that would be a nice element to this offense that Deuce Vaughn essentially would be bringing. But, you wouldn't be mad about having two Deuce Vaughn type players or two Deuce Vaughn skill sets, if you will, on this team to pair with a Rico Dowdle and an Ezekiel Elliott, because if anything were to happen to Deuce, it's going to be Rico Dowdle, Ezekiel Elliott, and Hunter Lipke, and that's not a lot of speed. That's not, I don't know, as far as pass catching goes, I'm not sure how good or bad Rico Dowdle is, but I don't remember seeing him do it too much. Not saying that he's bad at it, but you just want a guy who offers something different and playmaking ability, and I think adding a guy like Michael Carter would be a wise move, especially just depending on the money and everything like that. But like the experience, like the skill set, I think he'd be a great addition to this team at a low cost, potential high reward type of move. I know the Dallas Cowboys clearly are still looking for a running back after bringing in Dalvin Cook for a visit today. He didn't sound like he left with a deal. I'll be honest, I'm not mad about that. I don't know what Dalvin Cook really has to offer. I know last year he was dealing with some shoulder injury, and that New York Giants team wasn't very good. But then you look at the season that Breece Hall had. Of course, Breece Hall being in a totally different part of his career than Dalvin Cook and being a better player. You can't really compare what Breece Hall could do with that offense to what Dalvin Cook would do at his age and his stage of his career. But even then, I don't know, Dalvin Cook just didn't really do it for me last year. I know we talked about it again on Monday night when we heard the news that Dalvin Cook was being brought in, and Mike was, reminding us all that we thought 2 or 3 years ago that Dalvin Cook was kind of on his last leg, that he was done, and it just all but confirmed it last year, his time with the Jets. So I'm glad that he didn't get a deal. I'll be totally honest again, I don't know what his skill set would bring to Rico to a backfield with Rico and Ezekiel Elliott. I don't think he'd do much at all. I'd rather, like I said, go get a guy like Michael Carter. But outside of that, guys, that's all I've got for you. Let me know if your favorite prospect made the cut, or if one of your favorite veterans didn't make the cut. Leave it in the comments. And I'm Paul Ryan. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.